It seems like everyone by now has already seen the movie Parasite, and by now there are so many analysis videos on this already. And what's amazing about this movie and all the videos is that everyone seems to have something different to talk about. It just has so many layers to it. Whether you want to talk about the writing, in the story, the acting, the lighting, the visual metaphor, set design, editing, music, well, you get the idea. And with so much time already passed and so many people digging into this movie, it's surprising that there's still brand new discussions popping up around this film left and right. So I just want to go over this movie real quick and bring up a few things that I haven't really seen get talked about that much. So everyone already knows the visual metaphor of the line, as it's something that Mr. Park has brought up multiple times in the movie. But one scene that I've seen almost no discussion about is the one where the song is looking out the window as Moon Gwang is being fired by his mother. In this case, both of the characters are on the same side of this line. The camera angle is currently showing us a perspective of the song, and this shows how he views these two people. There isn't some class division between them, he doesn't even know about that. He's just grown up with them most, if not all, of his life, and there's no reason to separate them like that. He doesn't see the class division like we do, at least not until he'll be raised to see that division one day. When we talk about the theme of ignorance in this movie, it shows itself in many different ways. We of course have the smell and how Mr. Park chooses to plug his nose when he's around something that doesn't smell exactly like Gucci, a forgotten rose 20 milliliter perfumed oil undefined for $420 on Gucci.com. So in an interview Bong Joon-ho had with Jenny Nolf, he said, "Smell really reflects your life. It shows if you're struggling, what kind of work you do. Even when you sense the smell of someone else, you don't talk about it out in the open because it can be rude." And you know what? He's right. You don't just go up to somebody and go, that's stinky. And instead, Mr. Park doesn't do this. He chooses to talk about it in his private life with the people he trusts, like his wife. And when he's around those kinds of people, the ones that ride the subway, like he says, he chooses to shut up and just plug his nose about it. This is his indirect way of saying, I can't deal with the poor people smell. Get that off. It's crazy because, he does this in front of his family in the middle of a crisis. Like, his son is passed out. His wife literally said 15 minutes to get him from the moment he faints to the ER. And this guy still decides to plug his nose. Like, it's just that bad for him. Ignorance also shows up in a way that the house is built. Like how everyone talks about how elevation is used to represent how high up in class they are or how low class they are. Well, if we take that into account, we have the Parks at the top, the Kims who are kind of underground, and then we have Gwon-se who's down, really far down, like way down. And that's because he's in debt, and frankly, he's probably not going to get out of that anytime soon, if at all. But the fact that he's right below the Park family without them knowing is another statement of the ignorance they have towards the lower class. Not only do they not know what problems they face, they don't even want to know. Not only do they not know what goes on with the poor, but they don't even know what kind of services they really provide. If we talk about the use of light in the movie, a lot of people will talk about the shot where Ki-woo leaves his home for the interview and basks in the sunlight for the first time, and it shows how his future is finally brightening up. But there's one that I like a little bit better, and it's an amazing mix of the three main discussion points, the holy trinity of Parasite discussion. We have stairs, elevation, and light. In the scenes where Mr. Park is coming home from work, the lights on top of him shine one by one as he passes under them and walks up into the house. We are led to believe that they are motion sensor lights, but learn later on that these lights are being controlled by Gwon-se, and this is his way of greeting Mr. Park and showing him some respect, which of course is never acknowledged by Mr. Park himself. Mr. Park never questions how the light works. He's just that bougie. He expects to come home with motion sensor lights right for him. God forbid he ever has to flick a light switch on or off. You know what? And there's just one thing I want to talk about, because I haven't seen any discussion over this. I'm not sure if I just haven't dug deep enough, but this takes me off to no end. You want to talk about the ramdam? The noodles, like these people literally call their housekeeper and they say, hey, we're going to be home in 8 minutes. can you make some food for our child so he can be happy? And then she makes them, and then nobody wants it. It was made for Desong, who just goes up to his room, and you know what? I get it. His birthday party was kind of trash, but like, you just got served a plate of food the moment you walked in the door. Like, you just went up and then food right in front of you. And then Mr. Park, or Mrs. Park, she goes, you know what? We'll just give it to his father. And then he goes, nah, I'm tired. You can eat it if you want. And so she just eats it, and then Dehai just comes like, what the heck? That's what I wanted. And man, you know what? And what's even crazier is that they have like 6 people in their house. That's not them in their house. And they don't care about it until they know, until the moment like the problem of the lower class is going to affect them. They don't even want to be involved. They have somebody dying in their basement, and they just, everyone really only cares about their family unit. And I think it's fairly evident when it comes to your family, you care about them a lot. You want the best for them. That's true for every family unit in this movie. Mr. Park obviously cares about his children enough to be ordering top tier quality product from America, to provide them with this huge house, and to have all these people working for them to make their lives easier. He rushes to the hospital the moment he can to save his son. Mrs. Park fires Moon Gwang because she believes she has tuberculosis. You know, she doesn't want that around the house. She obviously cares about her family. And then we have the Kims. They're fighting together to get to a certain point where they can all be richer. They've all worked their way into their jobs, though their methods were questionable, and they have a huge amount of teamwork. Look at how they clean up. Just look at this. It's beautiful. Look at the way Ki-Tek's face lights up when he sees Ki-Woo's trying to solidify his plans for college. It's so pure. You know, this guy obviously has a lot of love for his children. And then you have Moon Gwang and Gwon Se. Moon has provided a place for her husband to live amidst the chaos that has become his life. The way she rubs his stomach when she feeds him for the first time in days, the massage she gives him, like, I want what they have. Minus the underground bunker and the loan sharks, I can make do without that. Nothing makes it more evident that these families are fighting for themselves than the massacre and the first time everybody's down in the bunker. You know, the bunker shows that Moon would do anything for her husband to keep him alive. Just make sure that he learns how to eat bananas without going down on it. Look at him go. And in this scene, we go from blackmailing Moon and Gwen to blackmailing the Kims in almost an instant, just like that. And these scenes show 2 lower class families fighting amongst themselves. And then we have the massacre scene. And this is the biggest part. You know, there's a reason it's the climax. It brings everything all together. We have the separation between 2 classes that are finally clashed because of all this tension just that's between them. And it makes sense. Many people revolt when you put them in super compromising positions like this. You understand the anger that you see in Gwon Sui, because he's just stuck down in that bunker for his whole life because of a failed cake shop. And now he's fallen into debt. He has loan sharks. And then we have Mr. Park, who's just prospering in his career of technology. And we just further separate ourselves by grouping everyone into these classes off of how much money you have. We create these social boundaries that we are too afraid to cross in fear of what might come of it. This movie really opened my eyes to how I perceive this world, and honestly, I wish we could all look at it more like the song did. Sure, he's imperfect, he might be a little bit self-centered and such, but he doesn't have the same stigma that all the adults seem to have towards each other. He's a lot more pure and innocent when it comes to his view of the world than anyone else, and I hope that one day, even if we are still separated by class and money, we can at least all still see each other for the people that we really are on the inside. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. This is my first video and hopefully many, and I really would appreciate if you like and subscribe, or even if you just share this video around to more people. Exposure would be great. Welcome to constructive criticism and new video ideas. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.